it's Dave from DaveJonesGuitar.co.uk again. We're going to move on to the next lesson now, which is just a development really on the lesson before, if you're following them as they go. This one again is on the website on a PDF. It's called Rock and Roll Blues 2. The idea of this lesson is to develop the plectrum or picking technique. I don't know if you can see in the camera this, let me get it in the camera there, this little red thing I'm holding here is a triangular thing. It's called a plectrum or a pick for those of you who don't know. And you hold it between your index finger and your thumb. You sit it on your index finger as if you're going to shake hands with someone, and then you pop your thumb on top. Now the thing with this is you should never hold it between two fingers and your thumb, because when we start strumming it locks the wrist up and won't develop a good strumming technique. So index finger and thumb, and don't grip too tightly. You don't want to grip so loosely it flies off as soon as you hit the strings, but you don't want to over grip and cause any tension in the wrist at all. And the idea with the plectrum, although it's more difficult to start with, is there's a technique called alternate picking, and this means you pick down, up, down, up, down, up, etc. So your first strokes, or it doesn't have to be a down, it could be an up, but in this case we're going to go down, next note, up, down, up, down. And if you try that on one string until you've developed the technique, another good technique, another good thing for developing the alternate picking is scales. There's some scales on the scale page on the website. Try something simple like, I will go into the scales later with some other lessons, but there's one on there called a G major pentatonic if you're a total beginner over one octave. That's two notes on each string. So, and make sure you get down, up, down, up. It's easier with two notes per string scale, as the first note's down, the second note's up, and as you go across the strings you're playing with a downstroke, which tends to feel more natural. So that's a good way of developing alternate picking, and a very good way of developing coordination between the two hands. Most beginner students find the scales a bit boring, but it's the way to go really. You do need to know your scales. But back to this piece, it's exactly the same as the Rock and Roll Blues 1. All the notes are exactly the same. The difference is we're going to play each note twice now, once with a down pick, once with an up. So where before we were going, and that was, if you remember, that was the sequence before. Same sequence, but this time every note's played twice with a down pick followed by an up pick, and it just generally makes the piece swing a bit more and sound more interesting. And here we go, those. And alternate picking is much more difficult for first-time beginner students than you tend to naturally want to pick downwards, but it's much better if you can get into it, because it's a harder habit to break afterwards. There are a few tabs on the website. One that springs to mind that's quite difficult to play without alternate picking is the theme from the James Bond. That little fast. It's quite difficult to play with just downstrokes. So as well as getting these few lessons under your belt, you might want to check out some of the tabs on there and try to develop this alternate picking. It's much more important to play slowly and get the alternate picking than it is to try and run before you can walk, and just trying to get out of the habit of alternate picking, not doing alternate picking, and the habit of downstrokes later on after you've developed the idea is a lot harder than it is to actually try the downstrokes, try the alternate picking straight away. So good luck with that, and I'll see you next time.